This country has 156,000 people. That's smaller than most stadiums they'll play in, smaller than the audience of a single decent YouTube video. And on June 14th, they walk out against Germany. You probably haven't heard of Curaçao, a 70-kilometer strip of rock off the coast of Venezuela. Dutch colony, speaks Papiamentu, total area 404 square kilometers. The smallest country to ever qualify for a World Cup. Ever, but here's the part nobody tells you. Most of this team has never lived there. In the next 8 minutes, I'll show you the 3 things that actually got Curaçao to America. Not the stat sheet. The real story. A referee in Kingston who didn't realize he was about to make history. A retired Barcelona striker who quietly changed the rules of identity in football. And a 78-year-old coach who quit, was replaced, watched the replacement quit, and walked back through the door 3 weeks before the biggest tournament on earth. If you think the World Cup is just about size and money, Curaçao is the answer to that. Let's start where almost nobody was watching. November 18, 2025. Independence Park, Kingston. Jamaica versus Curaçao. Both teams need a win to leapfrog the other for the last automatic World Cup spot. A draw sends Curaçao through. A draw kills Jamaica's dream. For 90 minutes, nothing. Stoppage time. Jamaica gets a penalty. Picture it. The underdog is 1 kick away from being eliminated. A whole island, frozen. There's a guy in the stands. His name is Brenton Ballantyne. The fans call him Captain Blueface. He's been crying since the 80th minute. Already crying. Before the penalty, the referee gets called to the monitor. VAR overturns it. No penalty. Final whistle. 0-0. Curaçao is going to the World Cup. The island declared a national holiday the next day. Now, here's what most people miss about that night. That was not the moment Curaçao qualified. That was just the moment the world finally noticed. The real qualification happened 10 years earlier, in a hotel room in the Netherlands. And it has nothing to do with VAR. Because if you want to understand how a country of 156,000 people fields a team that beats Jamaica away, you have to understand who is actually on this team. And it's not who you think. March 2015, Curaçao appoints a new head coach, Patrick Kluivert. If you don't know him, he's a Dutch national legend. Ajax, Barcelona, won the Champions League at 18 years old, one of the best strikers of his generation, and his appointment was symbolic, because Kluivert is half Curaçaoan. His father is from the island, and he had spent his entire career playing for the Netherlands, like almost every Dutch player of Caribbean descent before him. What Kluivert did when he took the job, that's the part that built this World Cup team. He went to Dutch-born players with Curaçaoan grandparents. Dutch-born players who were good, Eredivisie good, Premier League good. Players who were never going to get a Netherlands call-up because the Dutch national team is, well, it's the Dutch national team. He said, come play for the island. Now, the island didn't love this. There was a real argument inside Curaçaoan football. Are these Dutch kids actually Curaçaoan, or are we just buying a national team off the European market? So Kluivert did something almost nobody has ever tried in international football. He organized a friendly. Dutch-based dual nationals on one side, locally based island-born players on the other. The Dutch-born guys won, 7-1, end of debate. That single result, that one weird friendly, set the policy for the next decade. The door was open, diaspora was welcome. And here's the lineup that walked into Jamaica 10 years later. Captain Leandro Bacuna, born in Groningen, Netherlands. Premier League career, chose Curaçao. His brother Juninho, same story, switched in 2019. Eloy Roon, the goalkeeper, Dutch youth international. Tahith Chong, actually born in Willemstad on the island. Manchester United Academy. Sheffield United now, one of the very few who came the other way. Gavan Castaner, who scored 5 goals in 6 qualifiers, more than anyone else on the team, Dutch youth international who flipped. This whole team is a 30-year argument about what counts as your country, and it was settled in a 7-1 friendly nobody outside the Caribbean watched. But getting the right players is one thing, keeping a coach long enough to use them, that turned out to be its own crisis. And it happened 23 days before the squad announcement. Dick Advocaat is 78 years old. He has coached the Netherlands at a World Cup. He has coached South Korea at a World Cup. If he walks out in Houston on June 14th, he becomes the first manager in history to coach 3 different countries at the World Cup. He's also the oldest, but early this year, he stepped down. His daughter was sick, family came first. Curaçao went to Plan B. They hired Fred Rutten, respected Dutch coach, fine resume. The team played warm-up matches. They lost to Australia. They lost to China. The players started complaining publicly. One of them, and I'm quoting, said, "I don't even care who is going to lead us." Rutten resigned on May 11th. Now think about the situation. 6 weeks before the World Cup, your manager is gone, your players are openly fighting. You're the smallest country in tournament history, and you have to play Germany. May 12th, Advocaat comes back. May 18, he names the 26-man squad. He hasn't trained this group as their full-time coach in 5 months. The team that walks out against Germany on June 14th will have been led by their final coach for 33 days, which sounds catastrophic. But the man who built this whole thing, the Federation President, Gilbert Martina, he sees the schedule differently. He thinks Germany first is actually good news. Curaçao's 3 group games, Germany in Houston, Ecuador in Kansas City, Ivory Coast in Philadelphia. Conventional wisdom, you want to play the toughest team last when they might be already qualified and resting players. Martina's argument is the opposite. He said publicly, and the quote is real, quote, "The best game to play against Germany is the first game." His logic, Germany hasn't played a World Cup match yet. They're nervous. There's pressure to start strong. They underestimate you. They haven't seen you live. You've also got nothing to lose. Nobody predicts a result, so you can sit deep, defend, counter, and if you nick a draw, you've already done more than any Curaçaoan team in history. Ecuador and Ivory Coast are matches Curaçao could realistically lose. Germany is the match nobody expects them to even compete in, so they get to play it with zero pressure. Once. Whether that works, we find out in 9 days. Last thing, and this is the part that survives the tournament. There are roughly 156,000 people in Curaçao. Their World Cup squad has 26 players. That means 1 in every 6,000 citizens of this country is going to the World Cup. For comparison, in Germany, that ratio is 1 in 3 million. Whatever happens in those 3 group games, whether Curaçao loses every match by 4 goals or somehow draws Germany, every kid in Willemstad now knows that the answer to, "Can someone from here get to the World Cup?" is yes. Eloy Room, the goalkeeper, said it best. Quote, "Back then, when I made the decision, we were really at the beginning of the journey. The journey is no longer about whether the island can build a team. The journey is what they do with the next 10 years of kids who saw it happen. If you want to know which other countries at this World Cup have a story you've never been told, that's what this whole channel is about. Watch the next one. On June 14th in Houston, a country smaller than most stadium crowds will walk out against the 4-time world champions. They got there because of a referee's monitor in Kingston, a Barcelona legend's phone call in 2015, and a 78-year-old man who was supposed to retire and didn't. Nobody is picking Curaçao to win Group E. But for a country that was supposed to be too small to even be on the pitch, they're already winning something nobody can take back. They showed up.